Okay, this is not.
Okay.
This is not number one.
I did.
Okay, you can tell it's grouping because there's 4 terms. Now, grouping doesn't always work, but on this assignment it will. If there's 4 terms, grouping might work. So what you do is you look at the front 2 terms, you like group them together, and say, what can I take out of those 2 terms?
2x squared.
X squared. And then in parentheses, you put what's left. And then you do the same thing on the last 2 terms. What can we take out of these 2?
4.
If there's a minus right there, I suggest it'll be a lot less confusing if you just take a minus 4 out. So if you divide these by -4, you get x plus 5. Do you guys follow that?
Right.
Okay, you just kind of gotta divide both those. If you did it right, the thing in parentheses will be identical. Okay, so what you do is factors like this. The outside stuff goes in the first set of parentheses, and the inside stuff goes in the other parentheses.
I like that trick. I like that better than usual.
Okay, this thing, this doesn't usually happen, but this thing actually factors again, right? What's that factor to?
Plus 4.
X minus 2, x plus 2 is the square minus the square. And then what are my answers?
2, -2, and -5.
Yeah. Okay, that was not number 1. Now, number 1.
Good trick?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'm getting emotional.
Probably depends on the math.
That's probably right.
Yesterday, my allergies were crazy.
Okay, this one is not a quadratic equation. It's not an x squared equation, but we can factor it like it is because it has the quadratic form. Instead of x squared x and the number, it's got x4, x2, and then the number. So as long as this one like doubles this one, it should work. So you just can kind of do it like normal. So what multiplies the x to the 4th?
Squared.
This is number 1, by the way. What multiplies into -12 that adds up to -4?
-6 positive 2.
Okay.
You don't need to put an x
Hmm?
You need to put an x behind like
No. What goes into -12 is just -6 and 2. And it adds up to -4. No, you don't put a x there because if we FOIL this, the first would be x to the 4th, the outside inside would be x squareds, and then the last would just be -12. Right? It just FOILs to that. How do we figure out what makes these factors equal 0? Well, let's just do this. X squared minus 6, we need that to equal 0. And x squared plus 2, we need that to equal 0. Here it comes, I feel it coming.
square root of 6.
I lost you. What is that, like zoned out for a second? What do you have to do?
Plus or minus.
Oh,
Oh.
Sebastian stole his glory. Maybe if you hadn't got
I
lost.
wanted you to let Sam say it. Sure, I can feel it. It's the plus or minus. Oh, that's what. Okay.
I was out of it, sorry.
So on this one I have x squared equals -2.
Too high.
I squared two.
Yeah. Well,
Good try.
Shut up, Trey.
Plus or minus. Oh, shoot.
we're officially terrible at that.
You're really talking
2, and 3. You can tell because it has the 4 terms.
Okay.
So let's practice it on number 3. I was thinking we'd do 1 through 11 today.
Same.
Tomorrow's kind of challenging. Is anybody else in yearbook? No. There's like a bunch of yearbook people this year.
I was thinking no. Yeah, because they all get to skip class. So
Just me and Lydia, I think.
Oh, Lydia's going as 2 in a row. What about Allison? She's not, is she? Okay. Do you guys remember what I did earlier?
Our first you like grouped the first two.
What comes out of the first 2? You don't really have to put parentheses there. X squared. 3 doesn't. And if I divide these by x squared, what I get is
You okay?
that.
Just looking at me very weird.
Well, what's that better one
Okay, what comes out of the next 2?
12.
No, no, 6 times
Wait, 8.
4. One way you can kind of tell is what do I need to take out of 12 to turn it into a 3? And it's 4. But I'm gonna, since there's a negative right there, I'm gonna divide out a negative 4. So that's 3x, and that's minus 16. You guys follow that?
Good try, Trey.
Hey, this one's kind of like my example. Alright, you guys remember what I did next?
X squared minus 4. 3x minus 16.
Okay,
X plus and minus 4.
plus.
It's like exactly like your example.
Well, it's almost. Only difference is this last factor. Alright, so x equals
Plus or minus 2.
plus or minus 2,
16 over 3.
positive 16 thirds.
Wouldn't it be negative 16 thirds?
Just like this is positive 2, right? So this is positive 16 thirds.
Right, switch.
Number 5, 2x to the 4. Okay. Any ideas on this one?
Move over some of the numbers.
Yeah, let's move everything to the left. So I'm going to add this one over and move this one over. So we got 2x to the 4th plus 7x squared minus 50. You want it equal to 0, so you can use that factoring trick. It's kind of like number 1, right? You got the x to the 4th, x squared. So we can factor it. What goes into 2x to the 4th?
2x and
Be 2x squared
x squared.
and x squared. And then for the back part, what goes into negative 15, but we have to do like outside inside to get 7. So let me just make something up. Let's say, what goes into negative 15?
Negative 3, 5.
Okay, I just, too late, I made it negative 5 and 3. So to see if it works, we do outside, inside. So the outside is 6, the inside is minus 5, and that does not add up to 7, so. Is this the one you guys said? Now the outside is minus 10, and the inside is plus 3.
Switch the positive.
Right, that gives me a negative 7 when I FOIL that, so that switch the plus and minus. Yikes. Okay, now it's right. So now what do I do though?
So we're trying to get a positive.
minus 5.
We already have a negative one, why can we not do it?
'Cause you want
They have to
fours.
multiply to negative 15,
Negative.
and when you FOIL it, it's
10
negative 7.
minus 3.
Which is
7.
good job.
7.
Yeah, that's right. But now what do I do though? How do I solve for x?
Oh,
Oh, do you do
So
2x squared minus 3 equals 0? No.
Yeah. We need this to equal 0 and that to equal 0. Since it doesn't just say x plus 5, so I can't just put negative 5. Alright, let's start with the easy one. Oh, they're both kind of easy. X squared is negative 5, x is...
I forgot the I. Plus or minus?
Hey, victory. If we just did it every day. If we ever take a day off, we're back in trouble again, but
I'll be back in trouble tomorrow.
yeah. Okay, actually this one might cause us a little bit of a trouble. I mean, your calculators can do this, but you can't leave square root of 2 on the bottom. So you multiply the top and bottom by square root of 2, you get square root of 6 over 2. Your calculator can do it, but this is basically what I did. Multiply by square root of 2.
Do you need plus or minus?
Yes. Okay, so that is those two and those two. Those have 4 answers. Alright, where are we at? They're slow going, aren't they? Number 7. Okay, what should we do first? Just looking in your book, what should I, guys, what should we do first on 7?
Minus 12.
Minus the 12 over. So I'm just gonna do that in my head. Alright, what should we do? Grouping. What comes out of the first two? What's left? What comes out of the last two?
6.
But instead of
-6.
6, let's take out a negative 6. We get x plus 2. Again, if your parentheses aren't the same, something's wrong. Leo, do you know what I'm going to write next?
You're gonna write.
X2 minus 6. Then you can do x plus 2. Pretty job, Leo.
Okay. Well, this one's negative 2.
And then you do
Leo, I think you should get the coronavirus. Just teach Trey a lesson. And wait till after he drinks it.
He's so funny.
That'd be such a funny prank.
You crazy friend. You probably good people.
Alright, what about this guy? Come on, guys.
X minus 2x plus 3.
No, it doesn't factor.
Square root. Dang it.
Plus or minus square root of 6.
Yeah, add the 6 over, and it'll be square root. So it's plus or minus square root.
Good job.
Kinda odd, it's cool outside. Is it? Oh, this is kind of broken. It's mostly open, as far as I can get. Okay. Numero 9. Okay, same thing as 7 really. So I'm just going to subtract everything to the left. And I'm going to put it in order. So what comes after 10x cubed?
Negative 6x squared.
Negative 6x squared. And then the plus 5x, and then minus the 3 over.
Quadratic.
No, it's not quadratic, it's the grouping.
What?
Silly Leo.
It's got 4
Just do
terms.
something different than we've done this entire assignment. Good idea. You went up like that.
Okay, what comes out of the first two?
We do all right.
2x squared,
2x squared, what's left?
5 times 3.
Alright, I'm glad one of these came up. What comes out of the last two?
Nothing.
Nothing. If nothing comes out, what could I still take out?
Why?
A 1. Because dividing by 1, we really need kind of something as a placeholder right there. Dividing by 1 doesn't really do anything though. Okay, so we've got 2x squared plus 1 and 5x minus 3. Alright, I'm going to give you guys 45 seconds to find the answers before I do. Mark that goes.
Let's solve the mystery.
Kind of a mess.
Oh, plus or minus square root to 1/2.
Yeah, but the square root of 1/2, you can't leave the square root of 2 on the bottom. So if you multiply top and bottom by square root of 2, you get square root of 2 over 2.
I only forgot the plus root. The I.
If you plugged it in your calculator, I think it usually writes the I back here, but that's just because your calculator is kind of limited in where it can put the I. Yeah, I think normally where it would be right there. Okay, and forgot the other one. 3/5 was the other one.
You have a kid. You have a kid.
Forgot about that.
Leo's
Leo,
quotes.
you got a gift for hyperbole.
May I?
Will doesn't talk to me anymore.
You won't talk to me either.
Think I can?
What did you say about Will?
He's a national treasure.
National treasure.
You won't talk to me anymore though. It's like you ruined it for everyone.
What'd you do, Trey?
I don't even know what I did.
Did you break
I
Mari-
said some weird stuff.
Mari invited him to her pool party Saturday, and Will would just start like going down and holding his breath, and it looked like he was drowning. And then he'd come back up, and we're like, "You good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could hold my breath for over a minute."
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, that's a long
Impressive.
time.
Yeah, the world record I think is 12 minutes.
How long can you sound?
Shoot, like 2 maybe.
Come on, fifth
2
boy.
maybe.
All good fellas do it.
Yeah, if you practice, you get better. Some people. Anyways, how about this one? How's this gonna factor? It's in the quadratic form. What goes into x6?
X
Cubed.
3x cubed.
What multiplies into -8 that adds up to -7?
Negative 8 plus n plus 1.
Okay, this one's a little different.
Oh boy.
X cubed minus 8, we need that to equal 0. Or x cubed plus 1 needs to equal 0. Alright, so if I add the 8, I get x cubed equals 8. Or Okay, if x cubed is 8, how do I find x here?
Cube root.
Cubed root. You guys know what the cubed root of 8 is?
2.
Plus or minus?
Nah.
How did
No.
you know?
I don't know that.
It was actually really good.
From the past. What times itself equals 8.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Shut
You
up.
guys are impressed with me?
Okay, how about this one?
You know this one?
Okay, if you weren't sure, you could plug this in
Is
your
it negative
calculator.
1/4?
Yeah.
No.
No, I know it wasn't that. Like,
That's right.
You lost it. Trevor.
no, I
Sorry.
didn't.
Okay, what times itself equals -1?